boils down to this, folks. One game to rule them all. And what is that game? It's the Copa America Final. It's Argentina, it's Colombia, it's coming at you next. That's right, folks, back once again with another preview video. Today we're taking a short look at the Copa America with Argentina looking for another bit of silverware, where standing in the way will be Colombia, the team of the tournament, looking for just their second ever Copa America victory, who of course will come out on top. We'll get into that and more in a second. If you know where you've been, smash your subscribe and you want to stop shop for Copa America right here under one rooski. What a fascinating tournament it has been, and I think we have got the final that we realistically deserve. The two best teams of the tournament are here. One not really got out of second gear, but the other have been blowing teams away and have come here on a bit of a passage, bit of a journey, and we'll get into all of that in a second. Of course, if you knew where you've been, smash your subscribe, smash the like, and of course hit the little bell. Big shout out again to the VIPs. They are the patrons. You know who you are, but again, if you knew, do the honours, and of course smash the subscribe. So let's get into it and preview the big game coming at you this coming Sunday. There's Argentina. It is, of course, Colombia. They're going to be locking horns over at the Hard Rock Cafe Stadium. I think it's down in Florida. Correct me if I'm wrong. Miami Gardens in another way. But let's take a look at, of course, these nations. And of course, the journey to get to this stage. Of course, Argentina, been here 43 times in the past. They've won the whole thing 15 times. Looking to be outright winners, outright leaders now in this competition, because Uruguay also level on 15 victories in the tournament. Of course, they are managed by Lionel Scaloni. What am I thinking? That's the opposition. Lionel Scaloni is the manager. The star man being Lautaro Martinez, and he has been absolutely fantastic in front of goal in this tournament. They were in Group A, where they're odds at 4-1 on to win the group, 40-1 on to qualify, and to win the whole thing, 7-4. We'll take a look at those odds in a little minute. But of course, my expectation was for them to win this tournament. They're here in the final, and of course, they got a real good chance to go the distance. But does that prediction still hold firm? Am I still backing, of course, the world champions Argentina to, of course, bring another bit of silverware to their name? Well, we'll see about that, of course. So they are, of course, favourites, I'm sure, and that's, of course, backed up by the fact they are #1 in the world, according to FIFA. Let's take a look at the resume then, shall we? Of course, they open up with a 2-0 win over Canada in Group A to set themselves up nicely. They followed that up with another clean sheet against Chile, 1-0 winners there, and they followed that up completely the group in Group A with a 2-0 win over Peru. Top bins, 3 for 3, no goals conceded, 5 goals scored, A-OK, until they get to the quarterfinals. That's right, standing in the way was Ecuador, and they, of course, forced a penalty shootout, which, fortunately for Argentina, they came out on top 4-2 in the end after a 1-1 90-minute display. Then, of course, it was a repeat of the opening game against Canada, the surprise nation, getting through to the semi-finals. But, of course, Argentina were too close, too good, too swift, too swazy to come on through and ultimately set themselves up to a final against Colombia. Well, let's take a look at, of course, those personnel that Argentina will be relying on, the likes of Martinez, Tagliafico, Montiel, Romero, Otamendi. We've got De Paul, La Celso, McAllister. We've got Lionel Messi, Di Maria, and of course Lautaro Martinez. Well, what about my 11 then, of course, for this match? Let's have a look at it. Coming at you in all its glory. It looks a little bit like this. We have Emilio Martinez between the sticks, Tagliafico at the back with Alessandro Martinez, Christian Romero, and Gonzalo Montiel making up a back four. With Enzo in the middle there alongside Alexis McAllister, Nicolas Gonzalez, Rodrigo De Paul, Lautaro Martinez, and Lionel Messi complete the lineup. In my eyes, of course, but standing in their way is a juggernaut who's sleeping dark horse, sleeping giant, you would say, for South American football, and maybe a period of dominance over the next few years to at least compete with Argentina in the World Cup qualifying stakes and beyond. So it is, of course, Colombia we're talking about. The qualifier have been here 23 times in the past. They've only won it once, back in 2001. Néstor Lorenzo, the manager, that's right. Star man Luis Diaz. They were in Group D, where they're odds at 11-4 to win the group, 7-2 on to qualify, 12-1 to win the whole thing. My expectation was a quarter-final. That was before I noticed just how good these guys are. They're currently ranked 12th according to the world rankings by FIFA. Let's take a look then at their resume. They started off with a 2-1 win over Paraguay. Then they followed that up with a 3-0 win over Costa Rica. And then they followed that up with a 1-1 draw against Brazil to kind of set a bit of a precedence there in the old grand scheme of things. Then they took care of business against Panama, and then a cracker, or what was dubbed a cracker anyway, against Uruguay with a 1-0 win. A couple of red cards, a couple of chaos. But ultimately, they came out on top to set up this final against Argentina this coming Sunday. What about the start, or the key personnel for Colombia? Let's take a look at David Ospina between the sticks, Davison Sanchez. We've got James Rodriguez, Jefferson Lerma. We've got Yesa Asprilla, Luis Diaz, Siniesta, Santos Boer. They're all in there. But what, of course, makes up our starting 11? We'll have a little look at it in all its glory. And what a team it's been so far. We've got the likes of David Ospina, Johan Mojica, Yeremina, Davison Sanchez, Daniel Munoz, Jefferson Lerma, Matias Uribe, Luis Diaz, James Rodriguez, Yon Arias, Rafael Santos Boer. Now, there was a red card in the last game, so that may, of course, affect the lineup coming at you this coming Sunday. Let's take a look then at the game itself now, coming at you at the Hard Rock Stadium with two Argentinian gaffers in the dugout. Scaloni representing Argentina, Lorenzo representing Colombia. Now, these two nations have played each other 18 times since 2003. 10 wins for Argentina, 3 wins for Colombia, and there's been 5 draws between the two sides. Argentina winning 6 on the bounce, 100% form for them at the moment. Colombia, 92% form for them over the last 6. However, unbeaten in the last 28 matches. They're on a crazy unbeaten run. How long will that go? Of course, on into the future. Will, of course, they come out of this with a bit of glory? We'll see about that. Argentina will have a winning streak of 10 matches, but the most recent match between these two sides ended back in February 2022. It was a 1-0 win for Argentina. That was in the World Cup qualifying phase back in February 2022. Colombia's last victory against Argentina was back in June 2019 with a 2-0 win in the end. So it's not looking good, favourable. It's not looking favourable for Colombia over the most recent matches against them. But this is of course a separate entity. A lot on the line, a lot of pressure perhaps. But can Colombia deliver a shocker? Well, the bookies currently have Argentina 5-4 for the victory, Colombia 13-5 for the victory, and the draw is at 2-1 right here, right now. What about the public vote? Well, they've been chewing on this for a little bit, but as you can see, 12 hours ago, Argentina are 65% favourite, according to the public vote, with 35 backing Colombia for the victory. Now, what about me? I've already done my prediction out there, so make sure you check that out. Separate video. But let's, of course, talk about the meat of the matter here. The game itself. 11 against 11 on the pitch. I don't think Argentina have really played that well, or haven't really been challenged along the way to the final. Of course, they've played Canada twice. They've, of course, Peru, Chile. And of course, they squeaked past an Ecuador side who gave them a little bit of a threat. Whereas you take a look at Colombia, they've played Brazil in the group stages. They took care of Uruguay. They've come in with a bit of flair about them. There's something about this Colombia side at the moment, and of course, running on fumes right now on a 28-game unbeaten streak. So what are we going to do about this? Do we go against the tried and trusted favourite Argentina, who have not really challenged and maybe are not prepared for a Colombia side, or maybe underestimating a Colombia side, or do we back a Colombia side that, of course, is running on fumes, running on momentum, and, of course, just 90 minutes away from another bit of glory? Well, I'm going to back with my heart on this one, and my heart is going for Colombia. That's right. I'm backing the Colombians for a bit of an upset to take care of business, upset the world of football, specifically in the Americas, and get only their second Copa America. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win. I just think they have been the team of the tournament, just like Spain have been the team of the tournament over the Euros. I'm backing their best performers, and that has been Colombia by a distance. Don't get me wrong, Argentina have been, pretty much faultless, but they've not really played anybody. They've not taken on a Brazil side. They've not taken on a Uruguay side. Two of the probably the next best things are these two here. The next two you would probably have fancied to be in the final. So yeah, I think Colombia, but that's another negative to consider. That maybe they're a little bit bruised and a little bit weary. But I'm going to stick with my gut, and that is of course a Colombia victory. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about that. Of course, as we look forward to that final, and of course, make sure you smash the like and smash the subscribe. We'll come back, of course, with a bit of an update video on all the business that's been going on in the past few weeks. But until then, subscribe, smash the like, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know down below. But until then, we're done.